Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're making this cute Easter Bunny gatefold card. Isn't it lovely? And I've actually made even an insert for this one and I just love it. It's just so pretty. So let's get started. This is the stamp set we're going to use. It's the Easter Bunny stamp set and we're going to be using quite a few images from this. The bunny rabbits, the eggs and the sentiment. So let's get started. We're going to start off here with my insert. Now normally I don't do an insert, but today I decided I would. And this is a piece of basic white and it's 14.35 centimeters by 10. Now we're going to be stamping our little green grass, and I'm doing this in Pear Pizzazz, I think ink, I can't honestly remember, but all the supply list will be linked in the description box below, so just have a look at that. So we're going to just stamp the grass all the way along the bottom of our insert, just like that. Isn't that cute? So now we'll stamp our little sentiment, and this one says Happy Easter, and I'm just using my grid paper here to line up my sentiment so I get it straight. And if your sentiment doesn't fit on the block, you can always put it on at a diagonal as I've done here. And I'm going to be stamping using the Tuxedo Black Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So now we're going to be stamping the rest of our images for our card, and I'm going to start off with this little bunny rabbit, and we're stamping it again in black, and we're going to stamp this little bunny rabbit twice. So I've got a scrap here of basic white, so we're going to stamp it once and then I'm going to stamp it again. So we have two images like this, one for the inside, one for the outside, and then I'm going to stamp this other little bunny rabbit as well. Isn't he cute? Oh, he's so adorable. I really do love these bunnies. I've coloured them in white. This time I tried, you'll see I coloured this lot in grey, but I just love them. They're so cute and so Easter. I really do think they are adorable, as you can tell. Now we're going to stamp our little eggs, and I'm going to stamp these eggs 4 times and then colour them in. So let's do that now. There we go. So now we have everything stamped, and we're going to do some colouring. And I'm going to be using some smoky slate and grey granite to colour in our rabbit. And you can see here I've changed the way I colour. I'm actually going to colour in using my darkest colour first, and then I'm going to start off using my lighter colour to blend it out. And I keep on going back between the two until I achieve something that I'm very happy with. Now my original I used smoky slate, but on this one I've used grey granite for the very simple reason that my smoky slate marker was drying out and I need to revive it or buy a new one. I'm going to try and revive them, and if it works then I will do a video on it and let you know how it works. So here you can see I'm just adding some shading sort of around the areas at the edges of the image and where the folds are and where I think some shadows would fall, just to give a little something to the image. I'm not being too careful about where the light's coming from. So now I'm going to colour my little eggs in, and I'm going to stick here with garden green ink, and then this one I think is real red, and then I'm going to go for balmy blue, and I'm going to colour all of my little eggs in that fashion. I'm not really bothering about shading here, but the images are just so small. I just want to get some colour down and let's make it nice, bright and happy. So now you can see here I fussy cut out all my eggs and my one bunny rabbit. And fussy cutting is not my favourite thing to do, but it was worth it because I just love the effect it gives here. Now we do have a punch to punch out this other little bunny, and this is the Easter Bunny punch, and I'm just going to put it in here and punch it out. So there we go, just line it up and punch. Now I'm going to punch out my second one. Now you can see here my piece of paper is a bit too small to fit in my punch. So I'm going to cut off a little bit of the base so it'll fit in nicely, and then I'm just going to use a piece of post-it note which I'm going to attach to the side of my cardstock, and this will give me a little handle so that I can actually put this in the punch and hold it and punch it really nicely. So there we go. Isn't that lovely? Oh, he's so cute. And you can see here I did use a little bit of petal pink for his ears. I didn't show that on the colouring. We're going to make our card base now. Now my original was Granny Apple Green, but this time I'm going to use some Balmy Blue, and this is a piece of A4 cardstock that I've cut down on the short side in half at 10.5 centimeters. And now I'm going to score it on the long side. You can see here me checking my notes at 7.4 centimeters from either end. And I'm going to use the scoring blade on my trimmer, which is the light grey blade. So there we go, 7.4 from one end. I'm going to just turn it round and do 7.4 centimeters from the other end. And that will make our normal standard A6 card base, but it will give you this lovely gatefold design. So now we're just going to fold where we scored, and I'm going to use my bone folder to give them a really nice crisp line. Bone folder is an invaluable tool, and if you don't have one, I would suggest you do get one because it's so useful. So now we're going to do some sticking, start to build our card. And I've got here some of the Regency Park Designer Series paper. And these little pieces measure 10 centimeters by 6.9 centimeters. Now my original, I did use two pieces. I had the first base down, and then on top of it I added a second layer which I tore a little bit to give an extra image, added interest. But since this paper here is so pretty, I just left it with the based image and didn't add anything on top. Now we're going to sort out our insert, and I have here a scrap of that Designer Series paper, and I'm just going to use it, as you can see, to decorate a little strip on the left hand side of my card. And I'm going to just stick that down with some Tombow, and then I'm just going to cut off the excess with the overhang with my long handled scissors. Now isn't that cute? I love it. So now we can stick that insert on the inside of our card, and again I'm going to use my Tombow, but it just gives me a little bit of wriggle room and makes things easier to line up, or that's how I find it anyway. And I hope you don't mind, the picture is okay. I'm using a new camera setup. This is the first time I've actually ever done a voiceover. We're going to now line up and stick down our little bunny rabbit, and now we're going to stick down our little eggs. So we've built our little scene in the insert, and I think that's just so cute. It's just so darling. I'm going to try and do more inserts, but I really like the way that looks. Just so pretty. So let's build our scene at the end, and now we're going to put some dimensionals on both of our bunny rabbits, and then we're going to have to take all of the backings off them, and then we're going to stick one down on either side of the flap so they face each other. So there we've got one little bunny, and I'm just trying to get him in place so that there's space for the eggs as well. And then we've got our second little bunny rabbit, and you can see me here having to take off all these blessed backings. Don't know about you, but taking backings off of dimensionals is the bane of my life, and those little backings get everywhere. However hard you try to put them in the bin, they still seem to migrate wherever you put them. I don't understand that, but hey ho, that's the way it goes. So we're going to put down our second little bunny, as you can see, and then I'm going to use this little scrap piece of the same Designer Series paper, and I'm going to just cut two little strips. I just eyeballed it, and I'm just going to stick these down so that the bunny rabbits have somewhere to sit and it doesn't look like they're floating. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Tombow, just a tiny amount, and I'm just going to stick those down and make sure I've actually got some glue. I think the Tombow was fighting me here. And there you can see I've got my two little strips so my bunny rabbits aren't floating on my card. And now we can start to stick down our eggs, and I'm going to put eggs on either side, as you can see, and I'm just going to use a little bit of glue on the back. As I've popped up my bunny rabbits, I'm not going to pop up the eggs as well, as you can see here. The good thing about the dimensionals, and I don't always put them to the very edge, is that you can then just lift up your bunny rabbit if you haven't pushed everything down really hard, and you can then tuck some of the eggs behind your bunny. And you'll see me doing that with this one here, where I'm going to just tuck the egg behind the bunny rabbit a little bit. So you can see him, you just lift him up gently, and because I haven't really pushed him down, I can just tuck that egg behind there so it looks like he's standing in front of that pile of yummy eggs. Now for my last set of eggs, I actually cut them up into two pieces, and you can see me here, I've tucked one behind the bunny's little tail, his fluffy tail, and I'm going to put another one here so we've got a huge pile of eggs on either side, and it just sort of seems to fill out the image really nicely. So I'm really happy with that. And now for our finishing touches, I have some of these adhesive pastel sequins, and I'm just deciding which colour I'm going to use. In my original I used the balmy blue, but for this one I actually decided to use the gold because I've got that little bit of yellow in that the bunny rabbits are sitting on, and I feel using that just brings some of that sort of yellowy colour to other parts of the card and just helps it balance out. So I'm just putting a few sequins here randomly around, as you can see. Well, I hope you enjoyed this card. If you did, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know, and please do consider subscribing. It really helps to make my videos more visible on YouTube. If you want to know any more information like the supply list, as I said, in the description box you'll find the supply list linked. You'll also find all my links to my social media links, to my website, my Facebook groups where I host a monthly online card club. So do go and check that all out and have a look around. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye bye.